The Krishi Jagran team had the incredible honor of witnessing visionary leaders, experts and innovators coming together at the Global Summit on the agenda. Strengthening Food Systems for Nutrient-Rich Crops, organized by FICCI on 19th July 2023 at the Lalit Hotel in New Delhi.
This is goiter, you can see your neck enlarging, it doesn't look pretty, it is deleterious to your health, and even today the health program has an salt iodine testing kit which goes to every state. But you ask any state and they say now everybody is understood. Salt has to be fortified by iodine. So though the program of testing continues, nobody actually tests it because you don't have salt in the market without iodine. Fortification has been with us ever since public health started and even before, when mothers would actively source things which made their children better. The urgency for it is, yes, clearer, it is stronger because our access to information is faster, climate change is real, it's upon us, and biofortification is one way out. But fortification not just post-harvest, even before. There are scientists, we've seen KBKs which have zinc-rich paddy varieties. The paddy looks pink, it looks distinctly different, or it may look, for the various varieties of black rice, it looks black. Some of the rice may be completely snow white. The local people do understand. So nutrition is a mix of not just the advocacy that this is better for you, but also the taste and the palatability. Also, who is carrying that message? That message today coming on an Instagram reel, it may not have any scientific backing, it may be totally illogical, and the other message may be totally based on active research, but it's the reel which turns people around to thinking their way. But I see a lot of hope in this because the tool can be used either which way. And when we speak of biofortified or nutrient-rich, the question also comes back when we go for our own shopping, what is actually the nutrient-rich one? So the devil is in the detail. If you look at the packaging, it may have the nutrient-rich content of 0.05% and it's invariably so small that you cannot read it unless the light is very bright and you're wearing glasses. But the devil is in the detail, and initially, so I work with farmer producer organizations, and when we started working, we started comparing what they are putting into what they are producing and what the corporates are putting into what they are producing.
The summit included addresses by various esteemed guests. The event was graced with the international presence of various eminent personalities. The summit revolved around the enrichment of the various food systems and nutrient-rich crops, where videos based on the commercialization of fortified crops were displayed.
We have collected here today to discuss about nutrient-dense crops. How can we work as India, as the government, as the private sector, as agriculturists, farmer-producer organizations, scientists, researchers, to ensure that nutrient-dense crops can get scaled up? We are all adversely impacted by the environment and climatic changes. There is a move by the Govt of India to promote local, seasonal, resilient crops such as millets. So this is one additional step in the journey to ensure the consumers become aware of the goodness, the nutritional richness of local, seasonal, nutrient-dense crops, and we are able to work with farmers and producers to ensure that farmers' livelihoods are increased by growing, cultivating and selling these crops. So we are here to exchange ideas, thoughts and best practice on how we can achieve scale of nutrient dense crops and increase their consumption amongst the population so that we are all becoming more and more nutritionally adequate.
देखिए, ये फिक्की ने जो इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइज किया है फोर्टिफिकेशन ऑफ फूड के बारे में, तो हम बहुत दशकों से देख रहे हैं कि इंडिया में फूड का फोर्टिफिकेशन होता है. फॉर एग्जांपल सॉल्ट पूरे देश में फोर्टिफाइड मिलता है, और पहले जो गॉइटर की बीमारी हुआ करती थी बुंदेलखंड इलाके में ख़ास तौर से, वो पूरी तरह से ख़त्म हो चुकी है. और भारत सरकार ने ये बहुत अच्छा फैसला किया है कि पीडीएस के तहत जो राइस बांटा जा रहा है उसको वो फोर्टिफाई कर रहे हैं. तो बच्चों में मेल न्यूट्रिशन और इसी तरीके से जो फोर्टिफाइड क्रॉप्स के ज़रिए हम एड्रेस कर सकते हैं न्यूट्रिएंट डेफिशिएंसी. जितना भी इंडिया में मिल्क मिलता है, दूध सारी कंपनीज या प्राइवेट सेक्टर कंपनीज या कोऑपरेटिव्स बेचती हैं, वो फोर्टिफाइड होता है. जितना भी एडिबल ऑयल इंडिया में होता है वो फोर्टिफाइड होता है. और अब एक अच्छी चीज़ ये हो रही है कि जो नई वैरायटीज़ ICAR डेवलप कर रहा है, उनको भी कोशिश कर रहा है कि वो बायोलॉजिकली फोर्टिफाई हो जाए.
So we had this amazing event, a global summit on strengthening food system for nutrient-rich crops. I guess this topic is very apt as worldwide we are noticing 2 in 3 women, 1 in 2 children are suffering from hidden hunger, and most of the diets consist of staples. So it's very important for us to focus on nutrification of staples. And I guess there's plenty of opportunities for countries to learn from each other. There's a lot of good work that's happening in Indonesia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Tanzania. So this is going to be an amazing forum, and I look forward to great deliberations happening in this event.
So it is a very great opportunity to be here in this global summit. We will share the Bangladesh experience. So Bangladesh in biofortified crops, we are doing, I should say, it is very well. So we are mainly working with the biofortified zinc rice. This is for the we are supporting the farmers, government ministries to increase the production as well as to make it available at the market level. At the same time, we are working with the Ministry of Food to procure biofortified rice to distribute to the vulnerable group population through its public feeding programs. So this is the first time the government has already introduced biofortified rice in its public procurement system. They are distributing it among the people. So this we are very much looking forward to working, expanding the activities and to increase the production to make biofortified rice available to the all type of consumers in Bangladesh.
Today is a learning experience for me to understand more about how to grow fortified crops. We've been largely doing very traditional way of agriculture, growing food just the way most of the farmers do, but we realize that we need to make it better not just for our generation but for the future generations. And if we don't add the right nutrients to our food, we are running into a lot of trouble. And hence I'm really looking forward to today's sessions and learning more and going and implementing these better practices in our own farms.
So the event today is around how we strengthen nutrient-enriched crops as an integral part of food system strengthening. So, we live in a world where, 2 to 3 billion people suffer from micronutrient deficiencies. And one of the ways of addressing the issue of micronutrient deficiencies is through increased consumption of nutrient-enriched crops. These are crops that are bred with higher levels of vitamins and minerals or micronutrients. And the idea is to ensure that people are consuming foods that are rich in nutrients without changing their normal diets. So, for example, it's rice that's have got enriched levels of zinc, or wheat with iron, and they don't really change their behavior. So, in terms of going forward, there's 3 things that we really need to do. The first one is to improve availability of seeds. So how do we increase production of seeds, for farmers to grow nutrient improved varieties of the staple crops? But also, how do we make consumers aware about the benefits of consuming nutrient-enriched crops, for their own health and development? And finally, it's also working with the government to create partnerships between government, private sector, research institutions on scaling up nutrient-enriched crops, but also doing further research and development in terms of developing, better varieties and more productive varieties of nutrient-enriched crops.
I think a summit like this is extremely critical for creating an awareness across different stakeholders and bring all the stakeholders on a common platform to understand the need and the consequences of malnutrition. As we all know that more than 50% of the women under reproductive age group and more than 60% of the children below 5 years are severely affected because of micronutrient malnutrition. To address that, biofortified crops is a way forward, but to ensure the availability of those crops, right from the availability of seeds, availability of large scale production and cultivation across geographies, and making that product then available to masses through proper channels is extremely vital. And for that, we will also need to think about incentivizing farmers who take up the cultivation of biofortified crops, say iron fortified pearl millet or the zinc fortified wheat. So they should feel it attractive to produce that, and we also need a lot of policy support to have a right policy which is a combination of not just the agricultural policy but agriculture, nutrition and health policies together, and have a mechanism to effectively monitor and evaluate the performance of those policies on the ground. By doing all this, we can hope to reach large masses and address this malnutrition across the country over a period of years.
कुपोषण जैसा कि हम सभी जानते हैं हमारे देश की नहीं पूरे विश्व की एक बहुत विकृत समस्या है। इसी संदर्भ में भारतीय कृषि अनुसंधान परिषद द्वारा जो विभिन्न फसलों की किस्मों का जो बायोफोर्टिफिकेशन का कार्य शुरू किया गया, इस क्रम में हमने अभी तक लगभग 114 किस्में तैयार किए। इन किस्मों को किसानों तक पहुंचाने के लिए हमारा पहला लक्ष्य है कि उनकी बीज की उपलब्धता हो, तो उसको जो प्रजनक बीज की स्थिति से लेकर और स्टेट्स के साथ हम कोलैबोरेट करके उसका अधिक से अधिक सीड जो है हम पैदा करने की कोशिश करके और विभिन्न पब्लिक और प्राइवेट सेक्टर एजेंसीज को देने की कोशिश करते हैं। जहाँ तक अवेयरनेस की बात है, हम हमारे कृषि विज्ञान केंद्रों के द्वारा, हमारे जो भारतीय कृषि अनुसंधान परिषद के विभिन्न संस्थान हैं उनके द्वारा और जो हमारे राज्यों के कृषि विश्वविद्यालय, केंद्रीय कृषि विश्वविद्यालयों के द्वारा विभिन्न कार्यक्रम करके किसान मेले, फील्ड डे और जो विभिन्न जो चर्चाओं के द्वारा हम किसानों को उसमें अवेयर करने की कोशिश करते हैं। और हमारे केवीकेज में कुछ एक जैसे वाटिका और जो पोषण वाटिका, जो न्यूट्री सेंसिटिव विलेजेज, उनका भी एक कार्यक्रम चला हुआ है जिसमें कि वो कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र एक वृहत स्तर पर गांव में जाकर और जो जैव संवर्धित किस्में हैं, बायोफोर्टिफाइड वैरायटीज है, उनके प्रदर्शन करते हैं और उसमें उनकी अवेयरनेस की बात करते हैं, उनके जो फायदे हैं उसकी बात करते हैं। तो किसानों में इस तरह से जो आम जन में उसकी जो जानकारी बढ़ती जा रही है और वो उनको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा अडॉप्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
Hello all, as we are present into the global conference on nutrition today we've amongst the various discussions we've seen that one of the key challenges that are preventing the uptake of biofortified crops with farmers and the urban community is that consumers are not able to trust biofortified crops and nutrition rich crops today. So Better Nutrition and Green Day Kisan Ki Dukaan, we have created India's first biofortified staples brand. As you can see, this is a biofortified atta made out of biofortified varieties. It is rich in iron, zinc and protein, that too without any chemicals being added to it. It's the most natural product. It is healthier for all of us once we consume it, right from the children in our families to the adults and to the elderly people within the family. You can see that this brand now offers the customers with complete traceability. That means consumers can know where their products are coming from, who are the farmers who are growing it. That's how Better Nutrition has built a brand around biofortified staples, which is both affordable and accessible for our consumers, as well as offers complete trust, transparency and traceability to the people who consume it.
For more updates on agri news, follow Krishi Jagran Business.